Hold on to your pennies, folks! Because today, we're talking about a single coin worth more than your entire weekend brunch tab. Yup, that's right, the 1970 60 mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny could be worth a cool $1.6 million. And no, that's not a typo. If you've ever thought it's just a penny, who cares? Well, get ready to rethink everything you know about pocket change. But hey, I get it. You probably don't check your change jar every time you buy a coffee, right? And I get it. We all toss a few pennies around like they're not even worth a second glance. But what if I told you that one random penny, one lonely penny, could be sitting in your collection right now, turning into a small fortune? Alright, let's break it down. This isn't your average, run-of-the-mill penny. We're talking about the 1970 60 Lincoln 1-cent penny, with a mint mark D right there on the back, which stands for the Denver Mint. Why is this coin so special? Well, it's not just the year, or the fact that it's from the US Mint's bicentennial year. There's something off about it that makes it super rare, and that's what turns it into a hot collector's item. So, here's the kicker. The 1970 60 penny was supposed to have a normal design. You know, the usual stuff, Lincoln on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But a small, tiny error in the minting process made some of these coins stand out, and if you've got one, you're sitting on a gold mine, well, technically a copper mine. You see, most pennies from the 1976 batch have a pretty standard look, but some of them were accidentally struck with an off-center die, or got damaged during the minting process. These slight imperfections mean they didn't meet the exact standards for regular circulation. To most people, this might look like a worn-out penny. To collectors, though, it's like discovering a rare comic book in your attic that everyone else passed over. It's the imperfections that make it worth millions. And get this, the most valuable 1970 60 pennies have been sold for as much as $1.6 million. I mean, can you imagine finding that in your coin jar? You're thinking it's just another random penny, and suddenly, bam, you've got a ticket to financial freedom. We're talking life-changing, retirement fund stuff here. I'll admit I've got a bit of a personal story here. I remember going through my old coin collection, just minding my own business, pulling out some random pennies I'd picked up over the years. I wasn't expecting much, honestly. I thought I was just going to find a few of those ugly, dirty pennies that no one wants. But then, out of nowhere, I find a 1970 60 penny, and I thought to myself, this doesn't look like any other penny. It was a little scratched up, a bit worn, but something about it caught my eye. I had to look it up. Turns out, it wasn't just a worn-out penny. It was a piece of history, one of those rare minting errors. My jaw dropped. Unfortunately, I didn't strike gold like some lucky collectors, but hey, it was still a pretty cool find. So, what does this all mean for you? If you've got a 1970 60 Lincoln penny just sitting around, don't dismiss it just yet. Check the condition, look for those tiny imperfections, and maybe you've got a future $1 million coin on your hands. Now, if you're feeling lucky, or just really want to make sure your coins are worth the big bucks, hit that subscribe button. I've got a ton of tips and tricks on how to spot valuable coins in your collection, and trust me, you don't want to miss out on more tips like this. Plus, who doesn't love making a little extra cash from the things they already own, right? So subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to leave a comment below telling me about any lucky coin finds you've had. Catch you next time, and remember, never underestimate a penny. It could change your life. 1978 No Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, and get this, it's worth $1.7 million. Money bag now. If you just spit out your coffee in disbelief, don't worry, you're not alone. I was the same way when I first heard about this coin. But don't go running to check your couch cushions just yet. I'll explain how to tell if your penny is one of the rare ones that could make you a fortune. So sit back, relax, and let's dig into the world of rare pennies. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 1978 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny sounds pretty innocent, right? I mean, who even thinks about pennies anymore? But plot twist, this particular penny is one of the rarest and most valuable pennies in existence. And when I say rare, I mean the kind of rare that makes your jaw drop. Now, before you get too excited, let's clear up something. Not every 1978 penny is worth millions. That would be way too easy, right? The secret to this penny's astronomical value lies in the fact that it was minted without a mint mark. Normally, you'll find a mint mark on a penny, either a D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But this little guy, it's got nothing. Zip. Zilch. Nada. Why is that such a big deal? Well, in 1978, the U.S. Mint accidentally forgot to put a mint mark on a small number of pennies. And, as you can imagine, that tiny oversight turned into a huge deal. Only a handful of these mintless pennies made it into circulation, and the rest is history. Now, here's the kicker. The ones that do survive and make it to the market are incredibly valuable. We're talking around $1.7 million if you've got a pristine one. How did I learn about this? Well, it's kind of a funny story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market with a buddy of mine, and he pulls out this dirty, old penny from his pocket. He says, "I don't know, man, I found this in my change. It looks old, but I don't think it's worth anything. It's just a penny." Naturally, I gave him a little side eye and said, "Let me see that." Turns out, he had a 1978 penny with no mint mark. But it was so scratched up and worn down that it wasn't worth much. Man, facepalming, that's the thing with coins. It's not always about finding the right year, it's about finding the right condition. A penny that's been through the washing machine or sat at the bottom of a jar for 40+ years won't fetch much. But the ones in mint condition, that's where the money is. So, how do you know if your 1978 penny is the real deal? Look for the absence of a mint mark. If there's no D or S after the date, then you've got yourself a candidate. Check the condition. Coins that are graded at MS 65 or higher are the ones that can be worth hundreds of thousands, even millions. If yours looks like it's been run over by a truck, well, you might want to keep it as a fun piece of history, but it's probably not going to be your ticket to riches. Get it professionally graded. You'll need to get it graded by a professional, like PCGS or NGC, to determine its true value. They'll check the quality, and trust me, it makes all the difference. Now, you might be wondering, is there a chance I could get lucky and find one? Well, the odds are slim, but not impossible. I know a guy who bought a box of random pennies from an estate sale for like $20 and ended up finding a rare coin worth thousands. So hey, you never know, but let me give you a quick tip here. It's not just about luck. Knowing the details, staying informed, and taking the time to look through your change could make all the difference. The more you learn about rare coins, the better your chances of spotting the next big find. Trust me, I've been there, and it's a thrill every time you get your hands on something that could change your life. Alright, coin collectors and treasure hunters, let's wrap this up. The 1978 no mint mark Lincoln penny is one of those rare finds that could make you a millionaire. Or at least give you a good story to tell at parties. But here's the thing, finding these valuable coins isn't just about luck. It's about knowing what to look for and understanding the market. So, if you want to get ahead in this game, you've got to stay informed and keep hunting for those gems. I hope this video helped you get a little closer to finding that $1 million penny hidden in your collection. And hey, if you've got any questions or thoughts, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your coin hunting adventures. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of videos coming your way with even more tips on how to spot coins worth big money. You don't want to miss out, trust me, the next $1 million coin could be in your pocket right now. So, get out there and start looking. 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny is worth a mind-blowing $1.7 million. Yeah, you heard me right. Not $1.70, but $1.7 million. I know what you're thinking, is this a joke? But trust me, it's as real as my childhood attempts at making a fort out of pennies, which were way less valuable than this one. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll be scouring your couch cushions for any stray 1980 pennies. And who knows? You might just find a hidden treasure. Alright. Let's talk about the 1980 no mint mark penny. To start, If you ever wondered why this coin is so special, it all comes down to a little error in production. See, back in 1980, the US Mint accidentally produced a number of pennies that didn't have a mint mark, which is typically found on the obverse side near the date. Now, usually, we associate these mint marks with identifying where a coin was made: Denver, Philadelphia, or San Francisco. But for this particular penny, the lack of a mint mark was the mistake that made it stand out. You might think, but hey, I have a ton of pennies from the 80s. And you're probably right. Most of them are probably rolling around in that jar of loose change under your bed. But here's where the magic happens. The 1980 no mint mark pennies that slip through the cracks are incredibly rare, and that rarity can drive the price up faster than my attempts at cooking spaghetti without setting off the smoke alarm. Anyway, this little penny could be worth $1.7 million because of how few were made. In fact, estimates say there are less than a handful of these pennies still in good condition. And as with any rare collectible, it's all about that supply and demand. The rarer it is, the more valuable it becomes. It's like trying to find a perfectly ripe avocado at the store. When you do, it's basically priceless. But if you grab the wrong one, it's a bit of a letdown, right? Now, I'm not saying you'll find one of these million-dollar pennies just lying around. No. It's more likely that you'll find it hidden among your everyday coins. Kind of like how you can always find an old receipt stuck between your seats when you're cleaning your car. But if you've got a sharp eye and a little bit of luck, you could stumble across one. So, what's the key to identifying a valuable 1980 no mint mark penny? First, check the date. But the most important thing to remember is that it won't have the mint mark below the date, where it usually says D for Denver or S for San Francisco. The 1980 no mint mark penny should look pretty standard from the front, with Lincoln's face in all its glory, but it's the back where you're going to want to look for those details. If the coin is in fantastic condition, then jackpot. Now, let me tell you a quick story. When I was a kid, I remember going to my grandma's house and digging through her old coin collection. She had this giant jar of pennies, and of course, I thought they were all worthless. I'd sort through them like I was looking for hidden treasure. Spoiler alert, I wasn't finding any million-dollar coins back then. But every so often, I'd get a rare one and think, oh, this could be worth something someday. Turns out, I was right, and that something could have been much more than just a penny. So I know the feeling of finding something cool and not knowing its real value. That's why I'm here today, helping you guys avoid the mistakes I made and giving you a chance to turn your pennies into profits. Alright, so let's wrap this up. If you find a 1980 no mint mark penny, congratulations, you're holding a potential $1.7 million treasure. But just like anything rare, it's all about the condition and the scarcity, so make sure it's in mint shape. Whether it's been sitting in your grandpa's coin jar for years or you just pulled it from your pocket change, this little penny could be the jackpot you've been waiting for. 1986 could be the jackpot you never knew you had, so if you've been tossing pennies into your jar or, like me, pretending to collect them but really just leave them scattered all over your car, well, now might be the time to take a second look. The camera zooms out to show a messy table full of coins, with one shiny penny standing out. Alright, I know what you're thinking. 1986? Are we really talking about a penny from the 80s? And to that I say, heck yes. Because trust me, this isn't just any penny. This one's got a secret. It's like the John Wick of pennies, quiet, unassuming, but capable of making bank. Cut to a quick montage of 1980s nostalgia, scrunchies, neon leg warmers, and cassette tapes, all while showing a close-up of the penny. So here's the deal. Most of the 1986 Lincoln pennies have a mint mark, right? They'll have a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But, and this is key, the ones without a mint mark? Those are the rare ones, and that's what makes the 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny so special. The ones that came out of the Philadelphia Mint had no mint mark, which, in a sea of millions of pennies, made them kinda rare. We're talking really rare, like, I found a gold nugget in my backyard. Rare. And that rarity? That's what bumps the price up to an eye-watering $1.80 million. So, How did this penny go from being just another coin to a $1.8 million treasure? Well, let me break it down for you. Mint errors. Yep, they're a big deal. When the mint produced these pennies in 1986, they accidentally let a batch slip through without the usual mint mark. And here's the kicker. While everyone else was casually tossing these in their change jars, collectors started to realize something. Hey, these might be valuable. It's like one of those hidden gem stories you hear about when you find out your grandmother's vase is actually worth more than your house. Except in this case, it's a penny. But hold up. Before you get too excited, let me hit you with some reality. There are only a few of these no mint mark pennies that made it into circulation without being caught and stamped. That makes them super rare, and rare means valuable. It's like when you find a limited edition Pokemon card or that one concert tee from the 90s. It's gotta be the right one in the right condition. So, you're probably wondering, how do I know if I've got one of these bad boys? Here's the thing, you've gotta check the date and the mint mark. The 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny will have a no mint mark under Lincoln's shoulder. That's it, nothing. Just pure, unadulterated, mint-free magic. The mint mark, or lack of one, is the difference between it's just another penny and holy cow, I'm retiring tomorrow. Now you're probably thinking, if I find one of these, what do I do next? Well, first things first, don't go running to the store and try to sell it for $1.8 million just yet. You'll want to have it professionally graded. It's like showing up to a doctor's office with a weird rash and expecting them to diagnose you over the phone. Get that penny checked out by a pro. Once it's been graded and authenticated, you can sell it to the highest bidder at one of those big coin auctions, or, if you don't want to go through all that hassle, just find a reputable dealer to help you out. But trust me, you're gonna want to make sure you're getting the right value for that coin, so, the next time you find a penny lying around, stop and think, is it the regular kind, or could it be your golden ticket? You never know, that penny in your pocket might be worth more than your car, your phone, and, let's be real, probably your entire coffee addiction combined. If you love this little treasure hunt, make sure to hit that subscribe button, so you never miss out on tips to help you discover more coins worth serious cash. And hey, leave a comment below if you've ever found a hidden gem like this. 1991 D Lincoln 1-cent penny. You know, the kind of penny you might have found in your pocket change just last week. But what if one of those is worth more than your car? Let's dive into why your average 1991 D penny might be the hidden goldmine you've been sitting on without even knowing it. So, let's break it down. We've all seen this little guy, your classic 1991 D penny. It's a copper-plated beauty, with the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the back and Honest Abe grinning up at you on the front. But here's the kicker, there's a very specific type of 1991 D penny that's sending collectors into a frenzy. I'm talking about the one with the rare error, where it's either slightly off-center, missing a mint mark, or has some other odd feature that makes it stand out. Now you might be thinking, okay, cool. But why is this one penny worth $1.7 million? Well, folks, it's all about rarity. These error pennies, especially the ones with unique characteristics, like a misshapen die or a weird minting mistake, are so rare that they turn regular old coins into instant gold mines. There are less than a handful of these specific pennies floating around in circulation, and that makes them incredibly valuable to the right collector. You might even have one of these error pennies lying around in your couch cushions. Hey, I wouldn't judge you. I've found more change down the side of my car seats than I care to admit. But here's the thing, if you do happen to find one, you're in the money, literally. Speaking of finding unexpected treasures, I'll tell you a funny story. Last year, I was cleaning out an old wallet I found at the back of a drawer, and, no joke, found a 1980 penny, in mint condition. At first I thought, great, this is going straight into my cool but not worth much pile. But as I was looking it over, I noticed it had an odd little scratch on the rim. I wasn't sure if it was just wear and tear or something more, so I checked it out. Turns out, that scratch could have been a rare minting error. Now, I'm not saying it's worth $1 million, but it's still in a safe spot, just in case. Now, back to the 1991D. When these error pennies hit the market, they really hit. The first one to make a splash in the news was auctioned for $1.7 million. I know, you're probably thinking, what are the odds I find one of those? But with the right eyes, and a little luck, you might just be the next coin collector to strike it rich. So, what do you do if you think you have one of these rare pennies? First things first, don't just take my word for it. Get it checked out by a professional appraiser or a trusted coin dealer. These guys know their stuff and can tell you whether your 1991D penny is worth a few cents or a few $1,000,000. Pro tip: look closely at the edges, the mint mark, and the overall wear. Sometimes the error is subtle, a slight off-center strike, an unexpected crack, or a distorted design. I can't stress this enough. Don't just assume your coin is normal. Get it checked. Okay, so here's the deal. A 1991D Lincoln 1-cent penny might sound like a pretty basic coin, but if you've got one with a minting error, it could change your life. Think about it. You're walking around with a coin worth more than a luxury car or a down payment on a house. Crazy, right? If you've got a coin collection or just some loose change lying around, take a second look. You never know when that next $1.7 million penny might be staring right back at you. And hey, if you found something crazy while going through your coins, let me know in the comments. I love hearing about people striking it rich with a random penny. If you want more tips, tricks, and coin hunting strategies to help you cash in on those hidden treasures, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on all the ways you can turn your spare change into a fortune. 2014 No Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. Spoiler alert, it's one of the rarest and most valuable pennies you'll ever see. And no, I'm not pulling your leg, so grab your magnifying glass and your penny jar, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this penny worth more than your daily coffee fix. And it might just change how you look at every coin you own. Alright, let's break it down. The 2014 No Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. It sounds pretty standard, right? We've all seen a ton of Lincoln pennies, and let's be honest, we probably tossed half of them in the jar at the back of the closet. But here's the catch. This particular penny is part of a tiny batch that slipped through the cracks of the US Mint's machinery. Normally, every penny produced has a mint mark. You've seen it, the little D for Denver or the S for San Francisco. But the 2014 No Mint Mark penny? It's a mistake, a fluke. You might think, well, it's just missing a letter. No big deal. But trust me, it's a big deal. Because this penny was made in Philadelphia, but it doesn't have that telltale P mint mark, which makes it super rare. It's like finding a limited edition baseball card that accidentally missed its print. Imagine buying a pack of cards and one has an extra autograph or a rare misprint. That's what we've got here. These rare pennies have made their way into the collector's market, and guess what? Some of them have sold for up to $1.8 million. No joke. Now you might be thinking, how in the world does a single penny become worth that much? Well, here's where things get a little more exciting. You see, these misprints are actually highly sought after by collectors who specialize in errors. The rarity of this coin, paired with its perfect condition and a dash of good luck, can skyrocket its value. These types of errors don't happen every day, and when they do, they're worth their weight in gold, or in this case, a small fortune. Now, I bet you're staring at your own 2014 pennies thinking, what's the difference? It's all about the mint mark, or the lack of one. So how can you tell if you've got a valuable one hiding in your pile? Well, the first thing you want to do is check if there's a mint mark on the back. No mint mark means you've got a possible jackpot. But here's the thing, not every no mint mark penny is worth millions. You've got to make sure the penny is in great shape, and it has to be an actual error, not just some coin that's worn out. So, keep an eye out for a sharp, clean coin with no P on the reverse side. And hey, let's be real, how likely is it that you'll find one of these bad boys? Pretty rare, right? But it's not impossible. And hey, here's a funny story. I actually went to a coin shop once, just poking around, thinking about grabbing a couple of shiny pennies to add to my collection. I saw a 2014 penny in a box marked miscellaneous. I almost didn't look at it, but something told me to check. So I grabbed the penny and yup, it was one of these elusive no mint mark pennies. I almost had a heart attack. It wasn't in mint condition, but it was still worth something, and I ended up selling it for a nice little profit. Moral of the story? Never underestimate a penny, especially when it comes to rare errors. Alright, so here's the deal. The 2014 no mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny is a rare gem in the world of coin collecting, and if you've got one, you might be holding on to a fortune. Remember, you're looking for a well-preserved penny, with no mint mark, from 2014. If you've got it, you could be laughing all the way to the bank with $1.8 million in your pocket. But hey, even if you don't find one, don't stress. The world of rare coins is full of hidden treasures just waiting for you to discover them. So, the next time you drop a penny, think twice before tossing it away. You might just be holding on to the next big thing. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on how to spot coins worth money, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. You'll want to stay updated because you never know when your next $1 million penny is going to pop up. And if you're really serious about finding rare coins, check out some of my other videos where I break down all kinds of rare coins. Who knows, maybe you'll be the one sitting on a fortune.